Welcome back, everyone, to The Deep Dive. Today, we're going to try to tackle, I think, a pretty common challenge that businesses face, and that is, well, how to get more people to walk through your door. We've got some really interesting material here today, and our goal is going to be to break it all down, dig in a little deeper to figure out how it all works, and see what's going to be the most impactful for you. It doesn't matter if you're trying to bring in totally new customers or just see more of your regulars. Knowing the core stuff is going to be, well, pretty crucial, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Getting people to actually visit in person, actually stepping into your business is so important no matter how long you've been around. And I think this material we've got here today gives us a really great place to start to figure out how to actually make that happen.
Okay, so let's just jump right into it then. The first thing that this material talks about is visibility, right? It makes it really clear that the very first step is making sure that your business can actually be found, in the places where customers are already looking.
Yeah, exactly. And these days that mostly means, well, online, right? I mean, this material even says that you need to be listed on over 20 online directories. But it can't just be like a basic listing, right? There's got to be more to it than just, your name and address, right?
Exactly. And the material mentions all the big ones we all know: Google My Business, Yelp, Facebook, TripAdvisor, Nextdoor, all of those. But it really pushes the idea of going beyond that, really optimizing those profiles. It's not just, filling in the blanks. It's about having updated hours, making sure your contact info is accurate, and even having good pictures that actually, give people a feel for what you offer. Like, is your place cozy? Is it modern? Do those pictures make me want to go there?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So it's kind of like setting the stage, right? Painting a picture. And it's interesting that you mentioned the pictures because that made me think, did the material talk about anything else that was maybe a little less obvious but could really help a business stand out? Did it mention anything about using the Q&A sections or posting regular updates? Because I feel like this could be huge.
It did. It actually specifically mentioned using the Q&A on Google My Business to preemptively answer common questions. And I think the idea there is that, when you answer questions, it not only gives people the info they need, but it also shows that you're actually engaged, right?
Yeah.
You care. And posting regular updates about new products or even just special offers, that helps keep your profile fresh and alive because people have reason to come back and see what's new.
Oh, that's a great point. It's about staying top of mind too, right? A little reminder. And I think that leads nicely into something else the material emphasized: managing those customer reviews. And it's not just about getting them, it's about what you do with them. I'm curious, besides just, building that trust factor, what else did the material say about the advantages of really actively managing your reviews? Is there a strategic side to it?
Well, I think it's all about the feedback, right?
Yeah.
It literally tells you what your customers like and don't like. So the material points out that when you actually read and respond to those reviews, both the good ones and the, not so good ones, you're getting this incredible insight into what you're doing well and where you could maybe do a little better. And on top of that, when you respond, especially publicly, it shows that you actually care about what people think.
Yeah.
Their opinions matter to you. And I think that goes a long way in building trust, especially for new customers who are checking out those reviews before they decide to come in.
Right. It's you're showing you're invested. You're part of the conversation. And, what's really cool is that they even included a real life example of this in action, remember. They talked about this little coffee shop that started getting way more customers and even jumped higher in search rankings just by getting listed on Google My Business and then actually encouraging and responding to reviews. It's a pretty clear connection.
It really is. And I think it shows that having a good online presence isn't just setting it and forgetting it. It's a process, right?
Yeah.
You have to actually participate and be present. Now, speaking of being present, the material then jumps into another really interesting area: content, specifically short animated videos. Why do you think they focus so much on that specific format?
Well, I'm not a marketing guru or anything, but doesn't it just make sense? I mean, everyone's always online these days, right? Scrolling through their phones. There's so much information out there that anything that can catch someone's eye quickly and tell them what they need to know really fast has got to be a winner. And I think those little animated videos do that really well. Plus, they look nice, and you can get your personality across in a way that just plain text or even just a picture can't really do,
Yeah, totally. And, the material suggested keeping those videos short, only around 15 seconds.
Right.
Which makes sense when you think about how people are using those platforms,
Yeah.
Instagram Reels, TikToks, even mentioned Facebook. Those are all about quick, eye-catching content.
Right. It's the perfect length to just, grab someone's attention and make them want to learn more. Okay, so they're short. They're animated, but what makes them good? Like, did the material say anything about how to actually tell a good story in those 15 seconds?
Yeah, it's to focus on just one key message, like maybe showing off a product, announcing a sale, or even just highlighting an event that's coming up. And of course, the animation should be eye-catching and make sense for your brand. And the call to action, like what you want people to do, needs to be super clear and easy to understand, like visit us today or check out our store, things like that. And they even gave a real-life example, a local beauty salon. Just by using those short animated videos on Instagram and Facebook, saw a 40% jump in walk-ins just by offering a discount for new clients. Pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, that's a huge increase. And it shows like real results. It's not just theory. Okay, so let's shift gears for a sec. Moving away from all the online stuff, the material also talks about like creating actual reasons for people to visit you in person, like through events and promotions. What were some of the things it suggested?
Yeah, this is about giving people that extra little push to actually make this trip, right? Like a little something special. And the material mentioned things like flash sales, limited time discounts, stuff that creates that fear of missing out. But it wasn't just about those one-time deals. It also emphasized having regular events, things like, book signings for a bookstore, maybe live demos if you sell something crafty, or even like tasting nights for a food place. It's all about getting people excited to come back again and again. And it can even help build a sense of community around your business, which is pretty cool.
I totally agree. And it's a smart way to like take a regular transaction and make it feel like more of an experience. Like, oh, I'm not just buying a book. I'm hanging out, listening to an author, and meeting other people who love to read. Way more engaging. And what else I thought was smart? They talked about teaming up with local influencers to really get the word out about all this stuff. Why do you think they highlighted that strategy so much?
It's about trust, right? Like when someone you already follow and trust recommends something, it just feels more genuine than a random ad. Plus, those influencers already have an audience, so you're tapping into that. And the material, another great example here, a restaurant that started doing live music on Friday nights and promoting it with those short animated videos we were just talking about. And get this, they doubled their Friday night sales. I mean, come on, that's impressive.
It really is. And it's a good example of how all these different things can actually work together. Okay, so we've talked about getting people to find you online, grabbing their attention with cool content, and giving them reasons to visit you in person. Now let's talk about what happens when they actually show up. The last big point in this material was about making sure that like the whole experience of visiting your business is actually, positive and easy. What did it say about that?
This is where the rubber meets the road, right? It's all about making that physical visit worth it and making people want to come back for more. And the material was really big on the basics, like making sure your signage is clean and clear so people can actually find you, having good lighting so the place feels inviting, and just having a generally nice vibe. These things might seem kind of obvious, but they really do matter when it comes to first impressions.
Oh, absolutely. Like you only get one chance to make a first impression, right? And I'm curious, did they mention any specific tactics to really level up that in-store experience and get people in the door? Like something that you can only get if you actually come in rather than just shopping online.
They did. They specifically talked about offering deals that are only available in the store. The logic is pretty simple, right? If someone knows they can get a better price, or maybe even find a product that's only available by physically coming to your store, well, that gives them a reason to get off the couch and actually come visit, right? It's like you're offering something special, something you can't get just by clicking around online. Plus, they mentioned using targeted online ads to let people who are nearby know about those in-store only deals, which I think is brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that's super smart. It's like you're bringing the online world and the offline world together. And that example of the clothing store that saw a 30% boost in foot traffic just by doing a Facebook ad for a limited time in-store sale just proves it works. So looking back at everything we've talked about today, what are like the big takeaways for someone who wants to see more people coming through their doors?
All right, so if you really want to boost foot traffic, it comes down to a few key things. One, you got to make sure people can actually find you online. Two, you got to capture their attention with engaging content, and those short animated videos seem to be a winner there. Three, give people a real reason to visit you in person with cool events and enticing promotions. And finally, once they're there, make sure they have a great experience so they want to come back for more.
I think that's a perfect summary. And you know what? It really shows that there's no one magic bullet. It's about all these different elements working together to create a solid strategy.
Exactly. So as we wrap up today, here's something for everyone to think about. What's one small thing you can do in your business, like starting today, that could make a real difference in getting more people to walk through your door? It could be something as simple as finally updating your Google My Business profile with some new photos, or even just brainstorming a quick little promotion just for people who come visit your store. Think about it. What's that one little change that could have a big impact?